In order to describe how addiction is affecting our lives, we have to recognize that it affects all of us, not just the physical acting out part. We're spiritual as well as physical, and we're also mental beings, and we have an emotional component to us as well. In the model of self-absorbed chaos, at the center of the model really is self. I'm self-absorbed and essentially selfish. My feelings are focused on my own needs, not the needs of others. My thoughts are focused on my own needs, not the needs of others. And so I will manifest that in a number of different ways. And one of them is lust. Another one is fantasy. Another one is going victim if I feel like I'm being challenged. Another one is quick to anger if I feel like someone has wronged me. My emotional feelings are that I want to protect myself, so I'll be dishonest, prideful, oftentimes unaccountable. And then hard-hearted, I am not able to feel the needs of others because I am so self-centered. The outer part of the circle really identifies the cycle of addiction, and it starts with needs that I have. As a physical, emotional, spiritual, mental being, I have needs and I have things in my life that I need to deal with. In addiction, I'll work to meet that in an unhealthy way. I'll go to preoccupation, then from preoccupation I may go to rituals, and from rituals I'll go to acting out. That acting out behavior then produces a feeling of shame. Then I come back around to where I have a need that I need to fulfill. I didn't recognize that I was putting myself in the center of my life. And my behaviors, of course, were very selfish, but also the way that I interacted with my wife especially was selfish. Self-absorbed chaos is really inwardly focused.
Every person has a spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical side, but there's a difference here. Who takes over my center? That person in the center is not me, it's my addicted spouse. And what does that look like? It looks like, how can I fix this? How can I take care of him more? How can I be more for him? That's one side of it. The other side of it is, he's driving me crazy. He has taken over my life. He's ruining everything. Him. Some of the behaviors, fear is one of my biggest. What if he doesn't recover? What if he acts out again? When's the next shoe going to drop? So we become hypervigilant, we become controlling, obsessed, sometimes lack of self-care. Or on the other side, I've got to look perfect all the time, and then the trauma response might level off a little bit. And we might think everything is okay for a while, and then it comes again, and it is a cycle. As women, we are the nurturers, and we want to take care of things. We want to make things right in our nurturing way. And we will do all sorts of even crazy things. Plastic surgery, crash diets. If I'm just 10 pounds thinner, then he'll be more attracted to me, and I will lose myself in it. I won't be true to myself. When I heard about trauma, that rang true to me. It was like a light bulb went on for me. This is a trauma response. Living in a sexual addiction relationship is the basis for much of the fear and the codependent behaviors.
The two conditions feed off of each other, and they start to fuel each other. When my life is focused on myself and my wife's life is focused on me and why she's not able to make a connection with me, then that stresses our marriage. And oftentimes the stress is manifested in what we call the drama triangle. It takes two people to be involved in drama. One of us will assume a role, such as persecutor, and another one will assume a role such as victim. And it moves around. And the way that manifests itself is there is now, instead of being healthy conversation, healthy communication, healthy interaction, we are in a very unhealthy position of assuming a role of drama.
So some of the behaviors start to show up as critical, judgmental, lacking trust, resentment, frustrated, blaming, dishonest.
Well, those are coping mechanisms. So how do we cope with this situation where there's all of this emotional distress in the relationship? How am I going to cope with that? And the way that I will cope with that, or the way that I chose to cope with it, was to emotionally withdraw. And I would think if I have some distance between myself and real, that we will both be able to get along better.
I didn't know that it could be, in reality, any better than a parallel life. It's okay, I do my thing, you do your thing, and occasionally we might meet. Those kinds of things will create this continual drama, apathy, distress, and it may take months and months for the distress to come out, and then we just have to work it out or just let it, stuff it inside. With that kind of unhealthiness in his life and her life and in the marriage, there's no way you're going to raise healthy children.
If you look at a man like myself who is self-centered, self-absorbed, and concerned about protecting myself, and then my spouse who is feeling neglected or in many cases abused because of my lack of attention to her needs, and then our marriage is in distress because we're not working together, but we are in fact oftentimes working against each other, then what we have is we have a family unit that is not working harmoniously, and the children will be affected by that. A natural consequence is they are affected.
We cannot protect children if we are not in a healthy place.